Yes. One, two, three, four, 5, 6. Okay, we're ready. Okay. Call the meeting to order. Please stand for a moment of silence, followed by the flag salute. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have a roll call of members.
Dr. Malloy.
Here.
Mr. Mignon.
Here.
Mr. Hoff. Mr. Greenwood. Mrs. Irwin Adams. Mr. Johnston. Mr. Francis. Mrs. McGinnis. Mr. Cook.
Okay. I'd like to announce that prior to this meeting, we had an executive session to discuss personnel and legal issues. Okay, at this time, we have a special presentation.
Good evening. At this time, I'd like Mrs. Christine McGarry and Mrs. Tricia Rosas to join me. Come on up. So each year, the Blair County Chamber recognizes the Judith A. Rossi Educator of the Year Award, sponsored by the Del Grosso family of companies. The criteria of the award includes nominees must be directly affiliated with the Blair County educational community. Nominees should have made some positive impact on students, schools, or educational systems that also benefit the local business community. And nominees should be people who are genuinely reluctant to receive acclaim for the efforts and involvements. This year's Judith A. Rossi Educator of the Year Award is an Altoona Area School District employee, Mrs. Christine McGarry, who is a kindergarten at our Juniata Gap Elementary School. So at this time, I'll introduce Tricia Rosas, who's the principal of Juniata Gap.
Hello, it is my honor to get to introduce Chris McGarry to you this evening. Chris has been a teacher in the district for 24 years. She started at Learning Express for 1 year and then spent 11 at Wright Elementary School. When Wright closed, she moved to Juniata Gap and taught gifted, and for the last few years, she's been teaching kindergarten. When I received the nomination form for this award, I knew right away that I wanted to nominate Chris. She is by far, heads above everyone else, one of the most positive people I have ever met in and outside of education. The COVID pandemic was tough for, I think, all educators, but to be a kindergarten teacher and trying to corral 5-year-olds on Zoom and hybrid and in the classroom, I'm sure was a challenge. Chris then had what would have been a major setback for anyone else. She was diagnosed with breast cancer in November of 2020, right in the middle of the pandemic. But you never would have known that Chris skipped a beat. She wanted to come to school every day for her students and was an inspiration to everybody else at school. So even if I was having a bad day, I knew if Chris McGarry was in kindergarten, teaching 5-year-olds, receiving chemo treatments, I could come to work every day too. So she was an inspiration to our entire school staff. I reached out to my team at school and asked if anyone would like to nominate Chris with me. And she had over 50 people join our nomination and not just agree to sign, but everybody wrote pretty much a full paragraph about what Chris means to them and means to our school. So I'm just honored to work with her. She's a blessing to our students and to my staff and to me and to the entire Altoona Area School District. So thank you, Chris.
Okay, wow, that's a lot. Where do I look? At all of you, I guess. I want to look at you too. So thank you. I'm super thrilled. I'm still not convinced of my worthiness for this. I've been thinking long and hard since December when I found out that this was coming my way. I'm not teaching students to, split the atom or do anything super impressive. But the thing that I came up with was this. Kids come in at the beginning of the year. They are scared. They cry a lot. You really wouldn't consider them a learner. And they leave some 9 months later, like on their journey for the rest of their school career with knowledge in their back pocket and ready to be students. And that is why I thank you for allowing me to go back to kindergarten. So thank you all. Thank you for such a supportive district. I love it here. I thank you.
We have to read here now to be careful.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, next we have hearing from citizens. And I'm just going to, I see we have quite a few citizens here tonight. So I'm just going to remind you of our board policy that pertains to this. So citizens wishing to address the board are to announce your name, address, and if you have a group affiliation, if applicable, please announce that. Public participants must be residents of the or taxpayers of the Altoona Area School District or anyone representing a group in the community or school district, any district employee, or any district student. Your statement will be limited to 5 minutes, and I will time you. Please understand that you can only comment once on the same topic. Statements are to be directed to the board president, not to the group. You are not to address or question school board directors individually. As board president, I may interrupt or terminate a participant's statement when it gets too lengthy, personally directed, abusive, obscene, or irrelevant. I may also request any individual to leave the meeting if he or she does not observe reasonable decorum as defined here in this policy. So if a person's conduct interferes with the progress of this meeting, he or she may be removed with the assistance from law enforcement. I reserve the right to call a recess or adjourn to another time if there is a lack of public decorum. So those are the ground rules. And if anybody wishes to address the board, please come to the podium. State your name and address.
And Dr. Malloy, I believe are some students who are coming,
Okay,
and I asked
okay.
them not to give their address
Okay.
to keep them safe.
Hello, my name is Andy Kephart, and I'm here today with my friends Lydia Shemansky, Jenna Wyatt, Addison Mitchell, and Heaven Williams. We are 7th grade students here at AAJHS. Sorry.
That's okay. They want to be able to hear you. Okay. So go ahead and step up close. Okay.
We are here today to discuss the dress code and its rules. We as female students would like to talk about the possibility of easing up the dress code. We understand that there needs to be a dress code, but we'd like to see it altered. Two big clothing items that have rules placed upon them are jeans and shirts. In stores today, most jeans that you find have rips in them. The rips are usually located above where the current dress code allows them to be. As shown on several stores' websites, including Target and Kohl's, the jeans they sell mostly have rips where the dress code does not allow them to be. A similar situation happens with tops, skin showing in places we are not allowed to show it. We realize crop tops can be inappropriate in some ways, but some show little skin and are more commonly seen in fashion trends today. In stores like Aerie, Aeropostale, H&M, and Target, most shirts that are sold are currently deemed inappropriate for school. We have gone to some of these stores that we have listed and taken pictures of the clothes that are worn by teenagers today.
Hi, I'm Jenna Wyatt, and I'm a 7th grade Altoona area junior high student.
Hi, I'm Lydia Shermansky, and I'm a 7th grade Altoona area junior high student too.
This is a slideshow of dress code violation examples at the junior high.
First, we have American Eagle, H&M, Ross, Hollister, Aeropostale, Target, Aerie, Kohl's, Rue 21, and Old Navy. Thank you.
Girls are seen being dress coded much more often than boys due to the lack of availability in dress code approved clothing. However, in our opinion, some of the backing behind the rules are unreasonable. Boys wear clothing that if a girl were to wear, they would get dress coded. For example, shorts above the mid-thigh. We realize we cannot bend the dress code so far past the limits that a student will be a distraction to others, such as wearing very small spandex shorts, crop tops where bras are visible, and wearing very tiny jean shorts. However, we believe that the rules can be adjusted slightly to accommodate modern fashion styles. For example, changing crop top length rule to the shirt starting where the rib cage begins, and ripping in jeans covering an acceptable amount of skin and not showing any undergarment. We are teenagers and should not have to dress like elementary-age children or adults. We should have fashion freedoms in some way. We are not asking for an entire change of the dress code, just these simple adaptations. We especially hope for Mrs. Adams and Mrs. McGinnis' support in the dress code reform. They are boutique owners and see the current trends firsthand. Thank you for your time and consideration. We hope our speech provokes a discussion about the changes in the dress code at the secondary level. Once again, we thank you for your time.
Okay, and thank you for your presentation. You really did a great job getting this together. I mean, as board members, we do approve policies. I'll have to be honest with you, at my age, I'm not up on the the clothing that teenagers wear. My teenagers are 30-some years old now, close to 50, but you did an excellent job and excellent presentation. So thank you. Anybody else wish to address the board?
You know, this is actually like the right height. I'm actually a little impressed, I'm not gonna lie. Usually this is an issue. Before I get started, Devin Saylor, live on Crawford Avenue here in Altoona. I wanted to say, Chris, I have actually never actually got to talk to you before, but I wanted to say that you are very deserving of that award. I heard your speech at the Chamber of Commerce. It was fantastic, so thank you. You know, you deserve it. With that being said, members of the school board, I'm here today to talk about, I'm here on behalf of parents, mothers, daughters, and as a concerned young man, regarding an event surrounding a list that rated young females based on, well, some sort of stature that I guess is too obscene to speak about. I could go on about how the school has handled this and accountability. However, I know there are many others here today who will tell you all about that. I instead would like to talk about this as a learning opportunity to explain this situation and how we got here, and so we can prevent these problems in the future. Internet culture is evolving at a rapid pace, and kids these days have access to a wealth of information within the palm of their hand, far more than I had when I was in school. However, this information is being delivered in bits and pieces over shorter and shorter pieces of media, and this media often leaves out nuances to complicated issues, especially issues of men and women and the issues they face every day. In April of 2021, in the underbelly of an internet platform known as Reddit or 4chan, a meme event known as, well, to say it not so obscenely, Grape Day, was created, and would be the date of April 24th every year, probably as some sort of retaliation or spiteful joke due to April being Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Soon videos began circulating on the platform known as TikTok, making jokes and references to this day. Young women on the platform all over the country were deeply concerned. And men would make comments under these videos saying things like, you had better hope you can run faster, or you better hope that you aren't on our list. Fast forward to 2022, around mid-April, a young female student had informed me that she and her friend had found a list in a classroom in this very school, and that list contains names of women and had the letters NRD, which stands for National Grape Day. She told me she turned in this physical list, but assured me that this list was ranking them based off of the perceived ability to be assaulted, but assured me that with no name on it, there probably wasn't much that could be done. And now we are here in this room talking about a similar situation that many of us were not made aware of until students had brought it to their parents' attention. You might scoff and say things such as boys will be boys, but I can assure you that even when I was in middle school and the day I graduated, I never joked or asked my friends about such things in reference to women. The truth is these issues are stemming from a counterculture to a misunderstanding of feminism, a straw man that these men, self-help grifters, as I like to call them, use to convey misogynistic values and imply their worldview as the answer. All the young men need to do is watch their content, subscribe to their exclusive clubs, names like Andrew Tate and the Fresh and Fit Twitch TV come to mind. The issue is these grifters pop up in their algorithms and are often offer them solutions, albeit not very good ones. And I empathize with the issues of young men that they face, high expectations paired with low self-esteem, hearing on social media things like that men are trash, etc. But the solution to these issues is not to act in a form of retaliation, but to better understand the issues men and women both face. I am not sure what education programs are in place here, but there needs to be courses or lessons, or hell, even just an assembly, in things like feminism or men's and women's issues, not just as sort of an elective or some sort of after-school program, but especially for those who are not interested in these issues to be further educated on them. To combat a growing world of misinformation, we must do our best to educate our students with nuanced answers to complicated questions, to provide a safer, inclusive, and more productive learning environment. These lessons here today could prevent the next traumatized young woman or disillusioned young man and improve our students' social skills and comprehension. And it is an absolute must for them to lead successful, happy, and fulfilling lives. That's all I have. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Lots of good ideas. Okay, anyone else wish to address the board?
Hi, my name's Tina Partial. I am from Altoona, I live on Crawford, and I'm just coming as a concerned mother. I'm raising 2 boys myself, and when I heard about this issue, this list, it really angered me, and I had a lot of emotions around it because I think I speak for a lot of women and mothers who are raising our children, hopefully, that we are doing our best to make sure that things like this don't happen, that we're teaching them what they need to know to respect women, and that we're teaching our daughters how to be respected and have the confidence. And so I'm just kind of here to learn how these issues are solved. I'm here to learn and just try to have a part in making a better community for our children. And just one other thing, I made a post about this today, and a comment on it was, I moved my son out of this district because Altoona is so awful. And that really struck me because I think that's a comment that I've heard a lot of with the school district and with things that happen. And I would just like to see a change. I would hate for our educators and people to have that misconception on us, especially when we're trying to teach and we're in such a sensitive period for students. So yeah, I'm just here as a concerned parent. I want to see how things are handled, and yeah, that's just kind of, I want to see a change. So yeah.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else wish to address us? Whoops.
Oh, I'm sorry. I snuck around. Hi, everybody. My name's Jessica Davis. I live on 19th Street and Logan Ave in Altoona, and I'm also here as a concerned citizen of Altoona. I'm here to ask the board, can you confirm or deny that there was a list circulating with intended sexual assault on girls in this school? If so, what is the proper form of action? What is their disciplinary action? And have these girls been made aware they were on the list? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, anyone else wish to address us?
You know, are we going to address, they're here with a problem that we should do something about. Can we get a group of these parents together with some administrators and see what the heck's going on? And just like you said, Altoona is a pretty good school district. And let's try to work together to eliminate all this crap. So is there something we can do?
Absolutely. Anytime that we have a parent that has a concern at the secondary level, you are more than welcome to call my office. We'll set up a face-to-face meeting, whether it be the small group or individual parents that have a specific student situation. Our doors are always open, and I can promise you that myself and our administrative team at the high school and the junior high school will be more than happy to meet with you to discuss any of your concerns, you know, in its entirety or in general, in its policies, and you know, in terms of specific questions about specific incidences. I mean, there are privacy restrictions as to what we can and cannot reveal. Can I comment on the question that was just asked? I will categorically tell you that there was absolutely no list of any shape or form that existed about, you know, females being targeted as sexual assault in no way, shape, or form. 100%. And building principal from the high school is here as well. He was intimately involved in that investigation, and he will confirm that. Mr. Neely, correct? There was no list whatsoever. There was very inappropriate behavior that was investigated and addressed with those students and their families. And I can promise you that we take any allegation of any type of inappropriate behavior, especially violence against women or anyone, very, very seriously. And we as soon as it was brought to our attention, it was dealt with immediately.
Please contact Mr. Hatching. I don't want this thing to go. Yeah, I want it to go away the way it should go away, with something done in the right way. So we appreciate you coming. Thank you.
Well, and I think what I heard too with the young ladies with the dress code, I know we've had committees of parents and students, and it's probably something we need to constantly look at. And I wouldn't be a good person to have on that committee.
Sure, student dress is always an evolving concern. Girls, I can tell you that I know that dress code and expectation has been relaxed. You know, if you recall that it was to the knee length area, and you know that was modified over a year ago to be the mid thigh area. We are constantly trying to, you know, keep up with the times and make sure that we are being aware of what, you know, is fashionable for young women and for young men as well. And I can assure you that the dress expectations are consistent for both boys and girls. You know, and it is an expectation because this is your job as a student right now. And as you prepare for being, you know, young adults and into adulthood, there will always be expectations in terms of what your dress is at your job, you know, and one of the things that we always try to do is to set a level of expectation for that. Within reason, and I think our current, you know, expectations are within reason, but obviously we are always willing to listen to concerns and make modifications when necessary. So student voice is always very important, and I applaud you 100% for having the courage to come up here and speak and to put the presentation together that you did. We applaud that. That is something that we hopefully are trying to teach you, to stick up for what you believe is right and to have a voice and have the courage to say those things. So thank you for bringing that to us. And I can assure you that it didn't fall on deaf ears and it will be considered as we move forward.
Can we have some of these kids meet with some administrators and girls? You can just give them your ideas, what you think. You did do a great job, by the way. When I was in 7th grade, I couldn't speak to a teacher, let alone a group of old people. So nice job.
And I know it's hard to believe, but like I'm a parent as young. I have teenage daughters as well. So I get it. Like I see when they shop and what's available and what's out there. And, kind of my message to them was always that, that there's, when it's appropriate, not appropriate. And, there are times when I don't necessarily agree with what they wear to school. So I will tell you that, and I'm sensitive to that as well. But no, it's definitely good to have the dialogue and the conversation about, what expectations are. And I think the question for most kids is, well, why? Why aren't we focused on the important stuff like learning and making sure that we do things? Why does what I have on, matter so much? So, those are some conversations that we can continue to have and explore. Thank you.
I think this gentleman had some great ideas on using this as an opportunity to educate kids about respect. And I think we need to take it on and see what we can do, what we're doing now and what we can do to make it better. But you gave us some great ideas. Thank you. Okay, anybody else wish to address the board?
Hi, my name is Brian Geisman. I live on 5th Avenue. I am an Altoona City mayor candidate. So I see a lot of concerns here with obviously the families. As you all know, many of us are elected officials for a reason. So the people believe in us. They believe in what we value, and it is the safety of our children, the families in general. Obviously, I can't pinpoint, everybody that is speaking tonight. I appreciate you. You're at least trying. And I don't see that much going on. You kind of deterred from the situation at hand, talking about a dress code when parents are obviously saying they're concerned. And we kind of went past that. Calling, doing this, setting up that, it's not going to handle that situation at hand. It needs to be addressed immediately. Obviously, they're here for a reason. They want answers right away. They're looking at you guys for guidance. They're looking at, obviously this school district is great. We need to keep that reputation going. We need to make sure that the community feels that way and that we're all in that together. So this is just my little speech. I wanted to keep it simple and sweet, but deterring from the situation at hand and the questions that were addressed to you guys and shifting off to a dress code, that's not how we handle that situation, I feel. All right, thank you.
Okay. All right, thank you.
I probably honestly don't need this microphone, but my name is Janae Forbes and I live here on 7th Street. I'm a bonus mom of 5 and I have a biological son. As of now, I don't want my child to step foot in Altoona Area School District or into a public school because of how some things are handled and how scary children can be. I'm a graduate of Altoona and I loved this school when I was a student. This is more than an eternal matter. Rape is not something to joke about. The majority of SA victims are under 30, making it about 1 out of 6 females. Look around this room, how many people are females here? We don't know the history of these people. Some people are probably victims themselves. Victims of SA have a long-term effect for life, including PTSD, suicide, risk for STDs, more likely to use and abuse substances. These young predators have the option to turn their life around or go down the path of being a criminal with the title of rapist. Most offenders attack people they know. Look at this current situation, this list, so-called list, or Snapchats going around of girls that are easy to rape is most likely people these predators know. These predators will begin grooming, and next thing you know, they're at a party, roofing their selection and achieving their goal of rape. It's that easy. Every parent that think their child would never do something so harmless or to this extent, but in reality, these children are at the susceptible age of wanting to fit in, and some will do whatever it takes, especially under peer pressure. These predators may not be seeking a sexual manner, but it starts with wanting to be in control and the lack of parenting at home. If I ever found out that my son or any of my bonus kids were part of something like this, there would be more major consequences than a Saturday detention. As a CEO of a new nonprofit in the community, I'm currently in the process of organizing a workshop to teach self-defense to kids. Why do we have the need to teach self-defense to kids because of stuff like this that is said and go around schools? These participants at my workshop will protect themselves from monsters like this. As parents, educators, and members of this community, we need to do much better. It starts at home, but school has a major impact. These kids are in your care 7 to 8 hours out of the day, even more if they are in extracurricular activities.
Thank you.
Kelly Bowers, 4th Avenue. I think the biggest problem here is the fact that Jens are calling it something other than rape. Like, we can't even say the words. How we supposed to talk to our kids?
Kelly, would you address this?
I'm sorry, but it's frustrating to me that we all have issue with this, but we can't say what people being accused are doing. We can't say the words. How are we supposed to talk to our kids so our kids know this not a game? This not a joke. Obviously, I don't want to be up here right now. This not okay for our kids to be saying this. I got the issue page. I got parents messaging me telling me their kids saying they on this list today. This bull, the people, this been out there for over a week now, where most people just now hearing about it. Okay? If this was something actually happened, I'm sorry not addressing you. Did something actually happen? Don't you think a lot more of us hear about it a lot faster? Okay? Like, I get real frustrated with the district and with parents because we all put our head in the sand about lots of things. But y'all want to be up here saying about this. You do no survival justice calling it rape. It's rape. You say what it is, that way these kids know it's not a game to joke about.
Thank you, Kelly. Okay, anyone else?
Sorry, I'm getting over being sick. I swear I don't got COVID though, so all you guys are good. So my name's Michael. Sorry, can you guys hear me? Yep. My name's Michael. I live on Winding Knoll Road. I'm not like originally from Pennsylvania. Originally came from Alaska, bounced all across the United States, and then grew up in Illinois. Since I've been in Altoona, PA, I've honestly heard more about what she just mentioned than I have in any other state in the country. As far as it goes for you, Mr. Hatch, I'm only asking because you directly, I'm not going to say the word target. You directly addressed them, stating that there was no list. If that's the case, why are the voices of the many stating that there were a list, and why were there repercussions in a Saturday detention for the baseball team?
So some of the facts that you've mentioned, I know that are floating around out there, are not accurate. I can't get into what is and is not accurate. There is no baseball team involvement. I can tell you that first and foremost.
Okay.
The students that were involved are involved in extracurricular activities like many other kids. What was brought to us by females who had mentioned other females, none of which had alluded to or mentioned anything about a list or being part of a list. There was never any, through any investigation,
Where did the idea
of
of a list come from?
Pardon me?
Where did the idea of a list come from?
mean, social media has a tendency to take an issue or event and make it all of its own. And I can tell you there was none of the students that were involved mentioned anything about any lists of any student being on a list or have created a list. So I can't answer that. I mean, where that came from, I don't know. I mean, I can just tell you that there is no list.
Understandable. How involved are you in the school?
I'm extremely involved.
Do you know about everything that happens within the school?
I would say I know 95% of what goes on daily in our schools.
Okay. Do you know the situation going on with Brian Camberg? No?
We can't discuss a personnel issue.
He cannot comment on specifically identified individuals, particularly personnel matters.
That's fine. My point is, it feels like things are being thrown underneath the rug. It feels like there's a lot of information that's I'll address you. Sorry. It feels like there's a lot of information being thrown underneath the rug, and that makes me super uncomfortable. You guys want us to send kids to school and be completely comfortable and believe that they're in care, but then they come home with stories like this. I'm only speaking on this topic right now because my brother came to Altoona School District. I had a lot of issues and I wanted to come several times, but I was too preoccupied in my own life and I was being very selfish. After hearing about more and more and more about Altoona Area School District, I don't feel comfortable with any of you. What's the situation if you guys do come to find out that there was a rape incident?
A rape incident?
A rape incident.
There would be a formal investigation.
Not a rape incident. My bad. Not a rape incident. What's the situation? What is your repercussions for somebody to have a grape list?
If we have a student, I mean, we'd have to have the details of the incident specifically, but it would be thoroughly investigated and disciplined appropriately, and if necessary, charges being filed. We would involve our local police department as well as our own school police department to look at appropriate charges being filed.
In the most general way possible, because I doubt that you can speak on it. Why were there repercussions given to students almost coincidentally? And why was it just a Saturday detention?
Again, I can't comment specifically on any discipline that was given to any student, but I will tell you that we always do a thorough investigation in any situation. We look at all factors involved, and there are times when things can be corroborated and not corroborated, and we apply the student code of conduct appropriately.
Do you believe that the student code of conduct is, I wouldn't say mundane, but outdated?
I believe the student code of conduct largely mirrors case law and is supported by precedent. And in most cases, we try to, what is the purpose of discipline? The purpose of discipline is not just to be punitive.
I'm not asking what the purpose of discipline is, I'm sorry.
Well, that's what the code of conduct dictates.
Okay.
Code of conduct dictates discipline and consequences for actions. So in terms of looking at the student code of conduct and what is appropriate, we look at every situation individually. There is a standard set of behaviors and code of conduct that applies for situations. However, those are situational. They look at individual situations and what is most appropriate in that situation. And in addition to that, you look at the behavior of the student over time. If it's repetitive, if it's something that has happened over and over again, there's a progressive nature to the discipline policy.
I'm going to interrupt. 5 minutes are up, so thank you very much, sir.
But I'd be more than happy to discuss it with you further if you want to call my office.
I'll be back.
I would like everyone here to understand that we take all these allegations seriously. We thoroughly investigate and we deal with issues. We don't push issues under the rug. There will always be rumors. There will always be exaggerations. There will always be someone deciding that they want to put an extra little bit of zing behind a story. And social media does not make that go away. That, if anything, it exacerbates it. We put kids first. We put kids first as long as I've been here. And sometimes we take some heat because we're making the best decisions possible with the information we have. No one cares more about your kids and your children's success than the people in this room and the administrator sitting at the end of the table, administrator sitting over there, and myself. Because
We wouldn't take the heat we take on a daily basis to do what we do for kids if we didn't care. Okay, I would have not been lambasted over building this building if it wasn't in the best interest, in my opinion, of the children and their education in this city, in this town, in this community. And understand that we take all of this very seriously. But at the same time, we can't speak about certain things in public because it's private. They're children. They have rights. And while some people in the public might be hungry for information, for salacious information that may or may not even be true, we can't feed that. We have to focus on what's in the best interest of children and making sure the children are safe, secure, provided with every opportunity possible to have an excellent education in all facets. And we take that very seriously. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kyle Siscon-Leonard. I'm a resident of Altoona. I live on East Cherry Avenue. I'm a graduate of the class of 2017. I'm a certified peer specialist, a mental health support. I'm here on behalf of my school board campaign committee in support of students, parents, and educators within the district. As a community, we have to stand in solidarity with students who have been sexually harassed or assaulted and support them in their journey towards healing and justice. Sexual assault is a heinous crime that has long-lasting effects not only mentally, but also academically and in overall well-being. It's crucial that we take responsibility and make a commitment to ensuring that students are safe while on the campuses. This includes implementing policies that prioritize the prevention of sexual violence, providing resources for survivors, and holding perpetrators accountable for their actions. Individuals who create lists or send photographs of females and rating them on how easily they are to rape are not acceptable, and this should be considered sexual violence. Now, whether it happened or not, you seem to deny it. It seems to be very defensive, so I don't really believe that. And with that in mind, I believe that we as a community have to demand transparency from you, the school board, regarding the handling of all sexual harassment and assault cases. This includes clear communication about the steps that you take to investigate these incidents, as well as measures that you use to prevent future occurrences. What's happening right now is just arguing back and forth. We care, we care, we care. How are we getting there? What are you doing to protect the students? What are the policies? Are you continuing to look at them and adapt them as time progresses? Parents in the community and taxpayers deserve the right to know what goes on in the schools. And we need to work together to hold the board accountable, because we need to create a safer environment for students that promotes a culture of respect and consent. I'm running for school board to replace one of the 5 that are up for re-election, because parents deserve a transparent district, students deserve a high-quality education that's free of preventable distractions, and educators deserve support from the board. You've continued to prove that nothing will change unless we change this board, and I look forward to advocating for policy reform within the Altoona Area School District. Thank you.
I'd just like to address everybody in full disclosure and transparency. As we sat in executive session, I said, there's a big crowd out there, okay? I'm not on Facebook, I'm not on social media, I'm an egg on Twitter. So tonight really was the first time I've learned of any of this, and I'm sure some other people on the board. I'm not active on social media. So just so you know, this is a revelation to some of us this evening, just to be fair to us. So we take this seriously. This is my 2nd year on the board. So I have daughters. I take this very seriously, so we'll discuss it. It'll be addressed. Thank you.
I would like to add in response to some of the comments offered this evening that the school district does have very comprehensive policies that were recently overhauled since the time following the 2020 COVID school year that address sexual assault, dating violence, stalking, sexual harassment, and a variety of forms of conduct with extensive complaint procedures and directions on how to report anything of that nature to appropriate individuals within the school district if you have learned of or are aware of any conduct of the nature described tonight taking place within the school setting. Those policies likewise provide an array of supportive measures that are available to be provided to victims within the school district, and I would encourage all those who are interested to review those policies. They're 103 and 104 on the school district's website. They provide an extensive amount of information on the means by which you can pursue some of the activity that you've described this evening relative to looking at ways in which these issues are regulated. And by all means, if you have awareness of issues or evidence of issues that have not been brought to the school district's attention, those are the policies that we would encourage you to utilize if you are aware of something that we are not. Thank you.
Just a reminder, we all have publicly available email addresses. And when people email me, I try to respond. I respect everybody's voice. So they're available on the website. You can communicate with us as a board or individually. So just remember that.
We good? Hi, my name is Bridget Jackson. I live on Grant Avenue. I just want to give a shout out to my girls back here real quick, because hell yeah. Like, you guys are awesome. So as a woman, a former student, and mother of 2 daughters in this district, I, along with my female peers, were frequently subjected to punishments for dress code violations that penalized us for having developing female bodies. Those usually came in the form of a Saturday detention. None of the women I knew who were punished this way for simply existing have any real regrets or remorse for their heinous crimes of showing too much shoulder, a midriff, or having a larger chest. They are well-adjusted and upstanding people who see now that they were treated for what it really is, misogyny. I was taught before I reached junior high school to always stay vigilant, keep my keys between my fingers when walking to my car alone at night, don't let my drink out of my sight at the bar. One of my gifts for graduation was mace to take to college with me. For every person in this room with a son, what warnings do you have to give to your sons? How many discussions do you have to have with them about their wardrobe and if it's appropriate or too revealing, or if they wear it, will they be asking for it? I remember being 15. I remember being pressured into things I wasn't comfortable with because my consent didn't matter or because boys felt entitled to my body. Violence against women is not funny. Violence against women is not a joke. Threats of violence against women are not a viral internet trend that anyone should want to take part in. Rape is a serious crime, and it disproportionately affects high school-age women. This information is from RAIN, an organization that helps victims of sexual assault. So females aged 16 to 19 are 4 times more likely than the general population to be the victims of rape, attempted rape, or sexual assault. 94% of women who are raped experience symptoms of PTSD during the 2 weeks following a rape. 30% of women report symptoms of PTSD 9 months after a rape. 33% of women who are raped contemplate suicide. 13% of women who are raped actually attempt suicide. Approximately 70% of rape or sexual assault victims experience moderate to severe distress, a larger percentage than for any other violent crime. 84% of survivors who were victimized by an intimate partner experience professional or emotional issues, including moderate to severe distress or increased problems at work or school. If your intentions are to not make the schools in this district as safe as possible for all students, not just athletes or those who have names that are well known in the community, then I would kindly ask that you just resign. Thank you.
Okay, we have a pretty big agenda here. Anybody else wish to address us? Please come to the podium. Okay, thank you. If you wish to stay for the meeting, we're going to proceed with our business meeting. Okay, the first one is number 4. We have a resolution of the Board of Directors, a Board Secretary Certificate from New York Life Insurance Company. We'll wait a second here. just is like a wildfire. Okay, do we have a motion on this item?
You do the meeting, you're doing the minutes, right?
Okay, Val made the motion, Dave second. Any discussion? All those in favor, respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay, 5, we have approval of minutes of the 10/17/2022 Committee of the Whole meeting. We have the 12/5/2022 reorganization minutes. We have the 12/5/2022 regular meeting minutes. We have the 12/12/2022 COW minutes. We have the 1/9/2023 COW minutes. Do we have a motion on those items? Is there a second? Second. Discussion. Those in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? So moved. Finance, we have A, the list of payments, B, the financial reports. Do we have a motion on those items?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second? Second. On second, discussion. Okay, those in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Policy. We have one item, the AASD policy first reading, and there are a number of policies under that. So do we have a motion on the approval of the first reading of those policies? So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion.
Yes, Mr. President, we had a pretty lengthy policy meeting, which is open to the public. And I like to have one sooner than later. It's with everything that's going on west of us in Ohio with a train derailment, I like to add on an emergency preparedness and response policy. This was a new policy on November 5th, 2019, which we went over, and I like to have the community, the board, administration, and review this and add on to it for safety of our
Sounds great,
district and community.
Okay.
We'll make sure it's on the agenda to go over. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, any other comments? Discussion? Those in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Education, we have A, the 2023-24 school district calendar, B, a doctoral study, C, elementary field trips, D, secondary field trips, E, an agreement between the school district and Commonwealth of Pennsylvania University, F, the Meadows Psychiatric Center agreement, G, a new scholarship account, H, conference travel, I, volunteer approval, J, expulsion request, K, University of Pittsburgh concurrent enrollment agreement. Do we have a motion on those items? Is there a second? Second. Discussion.
That is the finalized school calendar. Yes. That calendar is the closest aligned to the calendar as we possibly could make it. We had a discussion today with all the superintendents, and I apologize if I failed to send it out to the board in advance. That's basically our starting date and our ending dates, almost identical to every other district in the county, to coordinate the VOTEC and then deal with the GACTC. Right, and it's been reviewed. It's been reviewed by the union. It's been reviewed by the administration. make sure it's in alignment. I mean, there are actually only 2 days of conflict with the CTC, which is amazing, where it's not totally locked up with the GACTC.
Okay, any other questions, discussion?
Those are driven by election day.
Yes. Okay, those in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Personnel. We have the personnel agenda. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? Seconds, discussion.
You know, I'm looking over here, there's some big names on here with, they're retiring with age and experience, and they're gonna be sadly missed.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, those in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Student services. We have the Sinclair Child Services Care Coordination Agreement. Do we have a motion? Second.
I went first. Dave went second.
Dave, Val made the motion. Dave
He's
made
quick.
the second. Discussion. Those in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 11, business operations. A, we have the Fieldhouse Sound System. B, the Washington Jefferson parking lot. C, the elementary wireless project. D, the capital projects list of payments. E, the repository bids. F, the van shell request for proposal. Do we have a motion on those items? Dave, is there a second?
Second.
Ron seconds. Discussion?
You know, we had wrestling tournaments this weekend at the field house, and Phil, that sound system's old. There's some complaints, you know. They had to call a couple times to get the wrestlers up on a different match, you know. So this is money here. It's needed. So
Okay,
I
any
believe
other
it's been
discussion?
like 40 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, firsthand, it's well needed.
Any other discussion? Okay, those in favor respond by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Facilities maintenance. A, we have a forklift purchase. B, we have a lawn care and shrub maintenance contract. Is there a motion on those items?
So moved.
Is there a second? Dave seconds. Any discussion? Okay, those in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Under new business, we have A, the single audit and financial statement. B, school psychologist contract. C, external requests by the Altoona Police Department for use of facilities. D, the external request by the Logan Township Police Department for use of facilities. E, athletics use of facilities. F, an ESL interpreter and translation services. Do we have a motion on those items? Stephanie, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, discussion?
May I point out that the audits, the audit reports and the single audit reports are at your table. Dave Scott is available to answer questions. We thought we would give you some time to look over it rather than him presenting tonight when it's cold read. If you have questions, he's willing to come to our March committee of the whole meeting and answer specific questions. But in the back of the single audit, which is the smaller report, there were some findings related to documentation for some athletic ticket sales and receipts for some of the student activity funds. So we're working to address those, but those are in the back of the smaller report.
Great, thank you. Okay, any questions, discussion? Those in favor, respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Committee reports, committee chair reports. Board president's report, I have none. Superintendent's report.
I would just like to reiterate the sentiments expressed by the crowd tonight regarding this issue, regarding inappropriate discussions and or statements and or behavior in the belittlement of rape is unacceptable to all of us, administratively, faculty, through the entire staff. And we take all allegations seriously and we investigate fully. And believe me that this was not just glossed over to save someone's whatever. And we deal with these things as they come up, and we can't talk about these things because everyone involved has rights. And we cannot violate those rights simply because people feel we need to be more transparent. And I know trust is a hard thing to gain. The issue is today, it's very easy to undermine that, whether you have truth to undermine it or not. But we take this very seriously. The comments that were made by the public are spot on. It is nothing in any way, shape, or form to be sloughed off or ignored, and we don't. We don't. Thank you.
Okay. Student representatives report. Ms. Ventry.
Good evening. I would like to take a moment to mention some current and upcoming events in the Altoona Area School District. As winter sports are coming to a close, I would like to give thanks to all winter athletes, participants, and volunteers in winter athletics. Good luck to all athletes at the end of your seasons. As spring sports will begin here shortly, I would like to make note of spring athletic screenings. Physicals for junior high sports will take place this Thursday, February 23rd at the AAJHS training room beginning at 3. Physicals for high school sports will take place next Thursday, March 2nd at the AAHS training room beginning at 3. For first-time physicals, athletes must have packet 1 of your physical forms filled out. Athletes that have participated in fall or winter sports only need to complete recertification paperwork. All forms are located on the athletic page of the school district website. In other news, I would like to congratulate Mrs. Chris McGeary, kindergarten teacher at Juniata Gap, for her nomination and winning of the Judith A. Rossi Educator of the Year Award. Thank you for inspiring children and adults every day. Furthermore, the after-school program Kids First Child Development Center provided AASD police services with treats and cards to honor National School Resource Officers Day this past Wednesday, February 15th. The department thanks all kids and staff involved. In the high school, Student Council is having their annual cereal drive for the St. Vincent de Paul Food Pantry. Cereal box donations will be accepted throughout the end of the month. Rachel's Closet is having a drive of their own, accepting white plastic hangers in order to revamp the closet. All hangers can be brought to the high school library or given to the greeter by the main office. Rachel's Closet works to provide clothing and other similar necessities to students in need. For parents and guardians with children who will be 5 years old on or before September 1st, 2023, kindergarten registration dates are now open. Exact dates for each elementary school are available on the district website and will take place throughout the month of March. Parents can register online or fill out a hard copy packet. After completion of the forms, parents will have an appointment scheduled to meet with faculty and receive the materials necessary to help their children prepare for kindergarten. In the next few weeks, our performing arts organizations will be hosting a few events. The High School String Spectacular concert will be held Thursday, March 2nd at 7 p.m. The High School Talent Show will be held in the Black Box Theater on Friday, March 3rd at 7 p.m. The High School Drama Club will be presenting Willy Wonka Jr. on Thursday, March 9th, Friday, March 10th, and Saturday, March 11th. Showings will begin at 7 p.m. with an extra matinee performance beginning at 1 p.m. on Saturday. Lastly, the Band Bash concert will be held in the AAHS auditorium at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, March 14th. Finally, secondary spring parent-teacher conferences will be held Tuesday, March 7th from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. There will not be conferences nor school that following Friday, March 10th. Thank you.
Thank you. Great report. Thank you. Okay, for information only, we have a professional contract For Colleen 4, we have payment of college credits, February reimbursement. C, we have the Facilities Committee Summary Report. D, we have the Policy Committee Summary Report. Any other comments? Employee unions response, middle management, solicitor. Okay. No other items on our agenda. Could we have a motion for adjournment? Is there a second? Second. Anybody opposed? We're adjourned.